Hello and welcome to the World News on Souqnews Television. We are reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. I am Grace Komalafe. First, we bring you some of our top stories. Nigeria spends $518 million on U.S. vehicle imports in the first half 2025, faces weak local assembly. YABATECH wins €117,000 on EU education grant for solar-powered project. Africa is projected to add 1.2 million barrels per day of refining capacity by 2030, says OPEC. U.S. halts work visas for Nigerian foreign truck drivers over safety, job loss concerns for Americans. AC Milan cancelled its proposed transfer of Nigerian striker Victor Boniface over failed medical examination. Thank you for joining us. Now we'll bring you the news in details. Nigeria imported $518 million worth of vehicles and parts from the U.S. between January and June 2025, according to U.S. Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis data. Passenger cars dominated with $379 million, 73%, followed by parts at $104 million at 20%, and trucks, buses and special purchase vehicles at $35 million. Imports remained steady in second quarter with $187 million shipped in May and June combined, suggesting Nigeria could surpass $1 billion in U.S. vehicle imports by year-end at the current $86 million monthly average. The trend underscores Nigeria's dependence on fully built vehicles as local auto assembly remains small and fragmented. In contrast, South Africa imported $525 million worth of vehicles and parts in the same period, but 82% were parts, $431 million, reflecting its stronger domestic assembly industry. Nigeria's car imports were over 6 times South Africa's $61 million, while its parts imports were just a quarter of South Africa's. Unlike South Africa's sharp month-to-month volatility, Nigeria's demand dipped only 3.2% from May to June, showing steady retail-driven consumption. Rising inflation and naira depreciation had caused a 14.3% drop in passenger car imports in 2024, but demand remains robust, with finished cars still dominating the market. Trucks and buses, though a smaller segment, remain vital for Nigeria's logistics and construction sectors. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and 5 other upstream gas firms have signed 20-year gas supply agreements with Nigeria LNG Limited to deliver 1.29 billion standard cubic feet of gas daily, with an option for extension. The deal signed in Abuja involved SNEPCO, Sunlink High, Tech Inc., Amni, and more, Owando, NNPC, E&P, and the rest, and will be scaled up over time. NLNG said the agreements are aimed at resolving long-standing supply shortages caused by pipeline vandalism and boosting its capacity to meet export and domestic commitments under the federal government's Decade of Gas agenda. NLNG Managing Director Philip Nsheo-Bila described the agreement as a turning point for reliable gas supply, while NNPCL Group CEO Bayo Ojulari hailed them as critical to Nigeria's energy transition and economic growth. Both executives credited President Bola Tinubu's executive orders on gas development and business reforms for creating an enabling environment. The GSAs are expected to enhance energy security, unlock industry growth opportunities, and drive Nigeria's industrialization by placing natural gas at the core of its development strategy. And now the Dangote Petroleum Refinery is set to commence its direct fuel distribution scheme following the arrival of 1,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks in Nigeria. The trucks, part of a larger fleet of 4,000 vehicles, will enable the $20 billion Lekki-based plant to begin supplying petroleum products directly to marketers in Lagos, Ogun, and other southwest states. Industry sources confirmed that the latest delivery marks a significant step towards easing fuel distribution bottlenecks and improving supply efficiency. Officials at the refinery, who declined to be named, disclosed that additional trucks are being shipped into the country in batches, with the full consignment expected by the end of next month. The direct distribution model is expected to reduce reliance on third-party logistics cost and improve turnaround time for fuel delivery across the region. Still in the news, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has instructed all candidates who updated their O-level result before the release of the 2025 West African Examination Council WAEC Senior School Certificate Examination SSC result to return to JAMB centers and re-upload their results. According to a statement from the board, all previously uploaded results have been cleared from its database to ensure that only the final WAEC SSCE results are recognized. This directive affects candidates who sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME using awaiting results, as well as those who uploaded provisional results before WAEC officially released the 2025 WAEC outcomes. JAMB explained that the re-uploaded process is necessary to maintain accuracy and credibility in the admissions process, stressing that only verified results will be considered for placement into tertiary institutions. Candidates have therefore been urged to visit any credible JAMB center nationwide to update their records promptly to avoid delays or disqualification during the admission exercise. And now the Yaba College of Technology, YABATECH, has received a 117,000 euros, that's about 200 million naira grant from the European Union to develop a solar-powered integrated aquaponics system. The project will focus on sustainable catfish production combined with vegetable and maize farming. The grant falls under the initiative Integrated Aquaponics System for Sustainable Catfish Production and Dual Crop Cultivation of Leafy Vegetables and Corn. It is aimed at promoting food security, renewable energy adoption, and innovative agriculture practices in Nigeria. The program is being coordinated by Dr. Fumilayo Doherty, Director of the Center for Research Support and Grants Management at YABATECH. She will work with a team of experts from the University of Lagos, Finland's University of Tokyo, and the University of Lapland. According to YABATECH, the project will not only enhance sustainable aquaculture and crop farming, but also serve as a model for climate-friendly agriculture system that can be replicated across rural and urban communities. Still in the news, the Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Abba Aliyu, has disclosed that Nigerians living in rural communities enjoy more stable electricity than many urban centers and are willing to pay higher tariffs for it. Speaking on Channels Television's The Morning Brief on Monday, Aliyu explained that tariffs in some rural areas range between 250 naira and 280 naira higher than what band BA customers pay. He attributed the difference to the cost of infrastructure developed to deliver electricity in such communities. Aliyu also said there are rural areas that pay more than band A customers. The tariff depends on the total infrastructure investment they put in and the agency's reliance on solar energy as a sustainable solution to rural electrification, distributing it as cost-effective and reliable. According to him, the model has created self-sustaining communities where residents value the uninterrupted power supply and pay promptly, underscoring the importance of decentralized energy solutions in Nigeria's power sector. And we move to Ogun State. The Commissioner for Transportation, Engineer Olugbenga Dairo, has assured residents of transformative improvements in the state's transport infrastructure, stressing that the Gateway International Airport will be a game changer for economic growth and connectivity. Speaking with journalists in his office, Dairo highlighted the airport's recent commercial fleet certification by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority as a landmark achievement of the Governor Dakpo Abiodun-led administration. He noted that the milestones reflect the government's commitment to expanding socio-economic opportunities and driving industrialization across the state. According to him, the GIA project will not only boost air travel but also stimulate investment, improve logistics, and enhance Ogun's status as a business hub in the southwest. Dairo explained that the certification paves the way for commercial airlines to begin operations, opening new frontiers for trade, tourism, and job creation. He assured residents that ongoing reforms in road and transport services would complement the airport's benefits, making Ogun a model for integrated transportation development in Nigeria. It's still the world news here at Souqnews Television. We'll be taking a break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
The rise and fall of Nigeria Airways is a story steeped in mismanagement and missed opportunities. Established in 1958, Nigeria Airways, the national carrier, initially soared as a symbol of national pride. However, a series of missteps led to its unfortunate demise. In 2008, financial mismanagement became its Achilles' heel. The airline became bloated with an oversized workforce, hemorrhaging money on profitable routes while neglecting crucial safety maintenance. These issues stemmed from a lack of transparency and accountability. The government, as the majority owner, failed to implement proper checks and balances, allowing mismanagement to foster. Weak regulatory oversight likely played a part as well, with instances of impounded aircraft due to unpaid debts and safety concerns raised by international bodies. Ultimately, the crippling debt burden proved unsurmountable, forcing Nigeria Airways to cease operations, leaving a void and a valuable lesson for the future. This lack of transparency and accountability isn't unique to state-owned airlines. Several privately owned airlines have also suffered the same fate. Effective corporate governance, including robust financial management and adherence to safety regulations, is essential for any airline to succeed. The broader lesson here is the critical role of corporate governance in the aviation industry. Effective management, robust financial strategies, supportive economic policies, and modern infrastructure are crucial for the growth and success of airlines. Addressing these challenges requires a concerted effort from both the government and the private sector to foster a conducive environment for aviation to thrive. Corporate governance is a multifaceted discipline that encompasses a wide range of processes, customs, policies, laws, and institutions that influence how a corporation is directed, administered, and controlled. The primary goal of corporate governance is to enhance economic efficiency with a strong focus on maximizing shareholders' welfare. Effective corporate governance has been linked to improved organizational performance, a fact supported by numerous studies. For airlines, factors such as board compositions, management practices, and regulating compliance significantly impact performance and operational efficiency and customer satisfaction are paramount. Robust corporate governance ensures that airlines operate transparently, ethically, and in alignment with both regulatory standards and stakeholder expectations. This is crucial for maintaining public trust, ensuring operational sustainability, and achieving long-term profitability. Across the Atlantic, one airline consistently ranks among the world's most profitable, Delta Airlines. What propels this country to such heights? The answer lies in its unwavering commitment to strong corporate governance. Delta's governance structure is robust, featuring a strong independent board of directors. This board comprises individuals with diverse backgrounds, skills, and experiences, ensuring a wide range of perspectives in decision-making processes. As of December 31, 2023, the board includes 10 independent directors and 2 non-independent members, one being the Chief Executive Officer and the other a nominee from the Airline Pilots Association. Diversity extends to gender, race, and ethnicity, with 1 out of 12 directors representing historically underrepresented groups. Key committees including audit, corporate governance, personnel and compensation, safety and security, and finance play critical roles in overseeing various aspects of operations and governance. By bridging the gap between Delta's global success and the realities of the Nigerian aviation industry, a thriving future can be achieved. For regulators, strengthening regulations in Nigeria's aviation industry involves implementing stricter enforceable measures to discourage irresponsible practices while protecting consumers, employees, and investors. This includes a thorough review of ownership structures by setting up minimum competency standards for owners, exploring diversified ownership models, and enforcing stringent disclosure requirements. Regular independent audits should be conducted, extending beyond mere compliance to identify areas for improvement in operational safety and sustainability practices, thereby fostering a more robust and reliable aviation sector. Bayo Olaoye, Souqnews.
Glad to know you never left. Now we'll bring you more stories on the news. Africa is projected to add 1.2 million barrels per day of refined capacity by 2030, representing one of the fastest downstream expansions worldwide, according to the 2025 OPEC World Oil Outlook. The growth, driven by large-scale projects in Nigeria, Angola, and Uganda, signals a turning point for the continent's energy independence and attractiveness to investors. Leading the charge is Nigeria's 650,000 BPD Dangote Refinery, which came on stream in 2024 and is already reshaping regional fuel trade flows. Additional Nigerian developments include the plant's 200,000 BPD Akwa Ibom refinery in Angola. The government is spearheading construction of the 200,000 BPD Lobito refinery and the 100,000 Soyo refinery, both scheduled for completion before the end of the decade. Uganda is also advancing its 60,000 BPD Albertine Graben refinery. OPEC noted that these projects could significantly cut Africa's fuel import dependence while positioning the continent as a competitive refining hub. And now the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and the African Development Bank, AfDB, have launched the 6th phase of the Enhanced Private Sector Assistance for Africa, setting a joint financing target of up to $5.5 billion for the period 2026 to 2028. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed during the 9th Tokyo International Conference on Africa Development in Yokohama, Japan. JICA President Dr. Akihiko Tanaka and AfDB Vice President for Power, Energy, Climate and Green Growth, Kelvin Kariuku, formalized the deal witnessed by Japan's Finance Minister Katsunobu Kato. EPSA 6 builds on the achievements of EPSA 5, which mobilized $5 billion by raising the ambitious by an additional $500 million. The program will support African countries in strengthening infrastructure, expanding renewable energy, improving climate resilience, and driving private sector-led growth. According to AfDB, the initiative reflects Japan's long-standing partnership with Africa and its commitment to inclusive and sustainable development. It also provides a framework for mobilizing critical resources to help the continent achieve its long-term transformation agenda. Moving ahead, South Africa is considering lowering the qualifying threshold for its high wealth tax unit to widen the number of rich taxpayers under closer scrutiny. The move is designed to raise additional state revenue by tracking more individuals with significant financing assets. Currently, the South Africa Revenue Service High Wealth Individual Unit monitors taxpayers with gross assets of at least 75 million rands, including company founders, executives, trusts, and family offices. The group of monitored taxpayers has already more than doubled to over 4,000 by March 2024, only 3 years after the unit's creation. By reducing the entry threshold, authorities aim to expand tax oversight and ensure wealthier citizens contribute more effectively to national revenue. The policy signals a stronger fiscal push as the government seeks sustainable funding sources amid growing economic pressure. And now Burkina Faso's military government has ordered an immediate halt to target malaria. A Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation-backed initiative released genetically modified mosquitoes to combat malaria and other insect-borne diseases. The project, which began field releases in 2019 and carried out another round this month, was told to cease all activities, according to a government communique. Target Malaria involves over 150 African and Western researchers and has aimed to reduce malaria, which killed more than 16,000 of the country's 8 million recorded cases in 2023. Authorities under Captain Ibrahim Traore, who ceased fire in 2022, have increased scrutiny of foreign-funded NGOs, revoking 21 licenses earlier this year. Civil society critics say the mosquito project raises ethical and safety concerns, while officials have linked online disinformation campaigns to opposition against the initiative. Project representatives maintain they have complied with Burkina Faso's regulations since 2012 and are open to cooperating with the government. Burkina Faso remain among the 10 countries most affected by malaria, with its population of 24 million facing significant health risks from the disease. Moving ahead, Egypt's central bank is preparing to lower key interest rates by 100 basis points this week as authorities move to support economic growth amid cooling inflation. A Reuters poll of 8 economists forecasts the overnight deposit rate will drop to 23% and the lending rate to 24% at the August 28th Monetary Policy Committee meeting. Inflation in Egypt slowed to 18.9% in July, down from 14.9% in June, driven by lower food and vegetable prices. Analysts said the Egyptian pound has strengthened against the United States dollar, aided by government measures to stabilize commodity and energy costs. This improvement, combined with expectations of a United States Federal Reserve rate cut, is giving Cairo more space to ease policy. The central bank had aggressively raised rates last year to counter inflation that peaked at 38% in September 2023. Since April 2024, it has been gradually reducing rates after securing an $8 billion International Monetary Fund support package and allowing the exchange rate to float. Economists say The latest quote will extend that easing circle while balancing growth with financial stability. And moving ahead, China has expanded property market support by relaxing housing purchase rules in Shanghai, its main financial hub. The decision is aimed at containing the prolonged real estate crisis and restoring confidence in the sector. Under the new measures, eligible Shanghai residents, including those originally from outside the city, can now buy unlimited homes in the outer suburbs. Non-residents who have contributed to pensions for at least 3 years can purchase newly built homes in urban areas rather than being restricted to older properties. The move highlights Beijing's continued push to ease restrictions in major cities as it seeks to stabilize housing demand. It also signals that authorities are adopting flexible local measures to prevent further decline in the property sector and protect investor confidence. Still in the news, South Korea has opened fresh diplomatic efforts to repair strained relations with China and expand bilateral economic cooperation. A special delegation led by former Parliament Speaker Park Beong-seok delivered a letter from President Lee Jae-myung to President Xi Jinping, expressing shared desire to restore trust and deepen collaboration. The measure was conveyed in Beijing as Lee prepared for a separate visit to Washington. Discussions with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi highlighted plans to make substantive progress on supply chain partnership and wider economic ties. Park emphasized that South Korea's new government aims to strengthen its strategic cooperation with China while maintaining its long-standing alliance with the United States. He also invited President Xi to attend the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit scheduled for October. China welcomed the delegation's approach, with Wang Yi stressing that good neighboring liners, managing sensitivities, and expanding cooperation remain the right path for both sides. Diplomatic tensions had fled in recent years, especially after the 2017 dispute over the United States missile defense system and sharp exchanges in 2023. Both governments now appear committed to restoring momentum in trade and investment relations. You are still watching the World News on Souqnews Television. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Please stay with us.
Muhammad Yunus was born on the 28th of June 1940 in the village of Batwa, Chittagong, a British Indian colony which is currently known as Bangladesh. He attended Lama Bazar Primary and Secondary School in his village and passed the matriculation examination into Chittagong Collegiate School, where he ranked 16th out of 39,000 students. After his graduation in 1961, Yunus joined the Bureau of Economics as a research assistant and was later appointed lecturer of economics at the Chittagong College. During that time, he also set up a profitable packaging factory on the side. In 1965, he received a Fulbright scholarship to study in the United States, where he obtained his PhD in economics from the Vanderbilt University Graduate Program in Economic Development. Between 1969 and 1972, after his keen education excellence of apex heights and proportions in the United States, he returned home and was appointed professor of economics at the University of Chittagong. He was eventually appointed onto the board of directors to the United Nations Foundation, where he served for 33 years. When Bangladesh suffered a famine in 1974, Yunus felt he had to do something for the very poor. in his country, he founded the Grameen Bank. His motivation was to create economic and social development for the very poor, giving long-term loans to those who wanted to start small enterprises to pay back when they can. The aim to help was to get many of them out of poverty. For this, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Muhammad Yunus is a recipient of numerous international awards for his ideas and endeavors, including the Humanitarian Award in 1993, World Food Prize in 1994, Independence Day Award in 1987, Bangladesh's highest award, the King Hussein Humanitarian Leadership Award in 2000. He was also awarded the Volvo Environment Prize in 2003, Nikkei Asia Prize for Regional Growth in 2004, Franklin D. Roosevelt Freedom Award in 2006, as well as the Seoul Peace Prize in the same year. All humans are born entrepreneurs, he would always fondly say. His heart showed through his everyday life.
Thank you for staying with us. Now we'll bring you the rest of the story. The United States has suspended the issuance of work visas to Nigerians and other foreign commercial truck drivers, citing road safety risks and threats to American jobs. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced on Thursday that the directive took immediate effect as part of President Donald Trump's renewed immigration crackdown since returning to office in January 2025. Rubio said the growing number of foreign drivers on U.S. highways was endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. The clampdown also includes a bond requirement of $5,000 to $15,000 for travelers from countries with high visa overstay rates or weak travel databases. In Nigeria, the U.S. mission has rolled out stricter rules requiring applicants to submit social media handles from the past 5 years or risk visa denial and future ineligibility. In Switzerland, they are working on a new business proposal for Washington aimed at reducing the heavy tariff burden recently imposed by the United States. According to sources familiar with the matter, the offer is expected to include commitments to increase defense spending and expand access for American energy companies in the Swiss market. The move comes after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 39% tariff on Swiss export earlier this month, one of the highest rates levied against any country. The decision followed a tense phone call with Swiss President Karin Keller-Sutter, during which Trump raised concerns about the U.S. trade deficit with Switzerland. The sudden tariff imposition shocked Bern, which has traditionally enjoyed strong trade relations with Washington. Analysts say Switzerland's counter-offer highlights its determination to protect key export sectors while balancing broader diplomatic ties with the United States. Talks between the two governments are ongoing, with officials hopeful that a compromise will be reached in the coming weeks. And now Turkish authorities are preparing to end the short-selling ban on local stocks by the close of August as part of efforts to increase the attractiveness of the market to foreign investors. The restriction force imposed in March and repeatedly extended is now set to lapse as investor interest in Turkish assets rises. Officials said the move follows a rally in the benchmark index, which reached record highs this month. alongside renewed monetary easing by the central bank. Analysts believe these conditions have created stronger market confidence and paved the way for lifting restrictions that discourage international participation. Market participants expect the policy reversal to attract foreign capital inflows while helping broaden trading strategies and improve market liquidity. The decision marks a shift towards more investor-friendly reforms as Turkey works to stabilize its economy and enhance the profit of its equity market globally. New Zealand's Postal Service has suspended most deliveries to the United States, citing uncertainty over the impact of new trade measures by President Donald Trump's administration. In a statement, New Zealand Post said it halted parcel services to the U.S. from August 21 ahead of the 15% tariff scheduled to take effect on August 29. Only essential items such as letters, passports, and legal documents will continue to be accepted for delivery. The suspension mirrors similar actions by postal operators in India, Germany, France, Belgium, Austria, and Denmark, which have also scaled back services after Washington announced the abolition of a tax exemption on small packages entering the U.S. The exemption had previously allowed low-value goods to enter duty-free, reducing shipping costs for consumers and businesses. Its removal is expected to increase costs and delay for cross-border e-commerce. U.S. tariffs first introduced in April are now entering a border enforcement phase after months of negotiation and temporary reprieves. And I will bring you sports story. AC Milan has officially cancelled its proposed transfer of Nigeria striker Victor Boniface from Bayer Leverkusen after the forward reportedly failed to pass mandatory medical examinations. The deal, which had been verbally agreed upon, included a €5 million loan fee with a €24 million buy options. Boniface had even arrived in Milan within the past 48 hours to finalize the move, but the transfer collapsed at the last stage following the club's medical assessment. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed that development on Sunday, stating AC Milan called Victor Boniface's deal off as Nigerian striker did not pass the medical test. Boniface, who played a key role in Bayer Leverkusen's Bundesliga winning campaign last season, had been identified by Milan as a potential attacking reinforcement. His failed move now forces the Rossoneri to consider alternative targets before the transfer window closes. For the Nigerian forward, the setback raises questions about his fitness and potential future transfer as other clubs monitor the situation closely. Still in sports, Super Eagles forward Ademola Lookman was excluded from Atlanta's match-day squad in India Serie A opener against newly promoted Pisa at the Give Stadium on Sunday. The 27-year-old forward recently returned to training after missing a pre-session in protest of the club's refusal to sanction a summer move to Inter Milan. Manager Ivan Juric opted to leave him out of the squad as the UEFA Europa League champions began their campaign. Lookman, who has attracted interest across Europe, reportedly saw a €45 million offer from Inter rejected earlier this summer. The former Everton and RB Leipzig man subsequently handed in a transfer request, accusing Atlanta of breaking promises and mistreating him professionally. Club CEO Luca Bacassi later clarified that while an agreement exists for Lookman to leave, it only applies if a suitable bid arrives from outside Italy. With his future uncertain, the Nigerian international standoff continues to dominate headlines, raising questions about his next destination before the transfer window closes. And that's a wrap on the news, but before we go, here is a recap of today's top stories. Nigeria spent $518 million on U.S. vehicle imports in half-year 2025, faces weak local assembly. YABATECH wins €117,000, the EU education grant for solar-powered projects. Africa is projected to add 1.2 million barrels per day of refining capacity by 2030, says OPEC. U.S. halts work visas for Nigerian foreign truck drivers over safety, job loss concerns for Americans. AC Milan cancelled its proposed transfer for Nigerian striker Victor Boniface over failed medical examinations. We say many thanks for watching. As the World News reaching you from Souqnews Television. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Souqnews TV. My name is Grace Komalafe. Do have a good afternoon.